The O-line has been a talking point this season, so we bring in Todd Wade to set the record straight. This is the Locked On Ole Miss podcast.
You are Locked On Ole Miss, your daily podcast on the Ole Miss Rebels. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, I'm Steven Willis, and welcome to the Locked On Ole Miss podcast. I'm your host, a 10-year veteran member of the national media and a former Ole Miss staff member. We're going to bring in Todd Wade. Todd's here. We're trying to get his camera situated while the show is going on, so we're kind of doing this real time. But Todd is here, so we're going to bring him in just a second. Thank you for making Locked On Ole Miss your first listen, and please give us a like, subscribe, and comment on your way out. Check out a second listen on the network. Nearly every team, college or pro, is available on the network. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Football season is right around the corner. Visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your futures bets. Todd is bringing in. He hasn't got his camera connected, but Todd, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, we will do this just for the time being. So one of the questions that I thought I'd have is one of the talking points ever since the first scrimmage has been offensive line play. And that has been something going around the fan base. Have you noticed anything when watching the Ole Miss offensive line that's out of the ordinary or different, or is everybody kind of making something out of nothing?
It's something I've definitely noticed last year. To me, it just seems like a little bit of a leverage issue. I mean, as basic as that sounds, that's what I see right off the bat. Specifically in the interior, that's causing a lot of issues. And pass pro, it's hard to react on a counter move when you're basically standing straight up. Running game speaks for itself. You're not getting movement at the point of attack. You're accepting the blow right off the bat. And the idea of just covering guys up, just you're letting the linebackers make the tackles. That's what I'm seeing. I'm not seeing the double team push that they need, shoulder to shoulder, forklift those guys back, and open it up for the running game. Because honestly, it's a defense that's going to be worn out if they can't figure that out. By the end of the season, you're not going to be able to hold on to games like that. Um, you're just going to run into a lot of problems, and you're going to have those games that you wish you could get back.
So how do you fix that? Is it more gap scheme stuff? Is it more zone blocking? Or I don't understand how they get from here to where they need to be.
It starts at practice, and you got to practice fast and emulate those game situations, because when Saturday doesn't come, it's moving faster than your brain is telling you. So it's you get in those situations. If you're not going out there every day and training yourself to play low, play with leverage, taking the right first step, doing those things to get the ball rolling, and that builds confidence with your side of the line, with the whole offensive line, gives yourself a whole offense an identity. Because basically, it's what it comes down to is your big guys should be the leaders on the team. It's not going to be your smallest guy. Guys, the rest of the team looks up to both sides of the line, offense and defense. And those are really the true leaders of the team, whether they're the most vocal or not. That gives the team confidence when those guys are ready. And they're going to go out there. You're going to get that kind of movement in the running game. You're going to get those first downs and move the chains and keep drives together. It's almost as silly as it sounds. Like some of the problems we've had, it's almost we either score too fast or we're 3 and out. And that's kind of what's really noticeable to me, as you can't there's only so many players on a defense that can carry a team like that in those type of situations. So I hate to see that happen again. We've last couple of weeks we've seen we've seen some issues there, and that really needs to change pretty quick. I don't know much about Arkansas, but it's going to start. Games are going to start getting a little tougher as we move along, and I hope they've used these last 2 weeks to do some self-examination. And it happens to everybody. It's not just like, with NFL, anybody. Players are gonna play high sometimes, but you correct that, and it has to be demanded from the coach going down, and you have to buy into that, or else you're not going to be that successful.
So it was a pretty good sign in the Kentucky game. I think they had 158 yards before contact or something like that.
Right.
And there was no sacks given up. Yeah, a little bit more rushing yards. They ran for 222 yards on the road in the SEC. That has to be a good sign, because they really did struggle interior wise in the Georgia State game. To see the momentum go in that direction, I guess my question is, there's kind of hope.
Yes, there is. There is. They are, like I said, they did. It's you want to be able to utilize that run game when you need to. So it's sometimes seems like that in the past we've gotten into situations where it could be a short yardage situation. You're like, oh gosh, not here again. Those things, that's what the offensive line needs to build that kind of confidence, get those conversions. And honestly, I miss the days of the going for it on fourth down and getting it, especially when you had Matt Corral and some guys you could not only run the ball, but the quarterback could run, and you get those first downs. But you can't really do that when you're missing that dependable part of your offense. And if they can get that, I'll feel much better going later into the season and making some big moves and getting into the playoffs.
Yeah, I think. And it's a serious, I think, on this, but you have to figure once Austin gets the first out of the way, which he's about there at this point, getting the first out of the way, and he can just settle down and play football, the panic throws like the first interception against Kentucky is going to go away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so,
that's right. That's right. And too, I see so many good things about Austin Simmons. I'm really excited about him. Some of those things, he's had a pick here and there, but he's also had some. He's been getting hit while he's trying to throw the ball, so some of those aren't his fault either. But it's a lot. He throws a great ball. I like how he sits back there and he's learning, and you're kind of watching it. Just kind of watching it live, watching the quarterback come in, starting for the first time, going through his progressions and building with this offense. Because like I said, it's not just some interior guys playing high. It's a little bit of everybody right now. You got a lot of it's a new cast, and that's just part of the NIL and everything that comes with that, and transfers, getting those guys warmed up. Luckily, we've had 2 games that were should have been beatable for us, and they were, and we won. That luckily we're able to avoid some of those things. Had we not been playing, had we been playing some tougher competition in those first 2 games, but that's coming up pretty soon. So I feel like there's been an advantage for us having games, competitive games, not just pushovers, competitive games, but not getting hit with something. You're playing, say, Florida State or someone like that right now. So I'm excited about it. I'm excited about the quarterbacks, receivers. We have a lot of talent on this team.
Yeah, and it looked like in the Kentucky game they figured some stuff out in the run game. They really did. They spent a little bit more time on the edges. It might have just been the fact that they were saving that whenever the Georgia State game was there. They hit the edges, running off tackles, stuff like that, and all of a sudden, Kewan Lacey and the other running backs and Trinidad Chambliss, the backup quarterback, he had a little bit of room to operate.
Yes, absolutely.
And
we have a heck of a tight end and right. I hate to squander anything. I think we could have a excellent team. They can just put it together and focus on those things. Watch a lot of film. Use these last 2 games, and that could really help us.
All right, when we come back, we are going to continue the conversation with Todd Wade. Move towards Arkansas a little bit, kind of talk about his playing days as well, because he's from that era that I just love to talk about, because honestly, Todd, that is my wheelhouse, the old Tommy Tuberville years at Ole Miss. So everybody stick around for that, and we'll come back with Todd Wade in just a moment. All right, it's time to fuel up and turn it up with 5-Hour Energy Transfusion. The grape, ginger, and lime flavored shot brings the iconic taste of a golf course favorite to a non-alcoholic boost. Perfect for sinking birdies or making great memories with friends. It is a hole-in-one for your energy game. Whether you're out on the course or just need an extra push to power through your day, 5-Hour Energy Transfusion delivers the clubhouse flavor you love without ever leaving the green. My miracle shot was at Forest Crossing in Franklin, Tennessee. Couldn't even see the green, much less the flag, and I was able to hold a steep chip. Yes, it was a miracle, but the shot counted. Golf is all about good times with good people and good flavors. The grape, ginger, lime flavor of 5-Hour Energy Transfusion gives us the best parts of the clubhouse without having to leave the course or chasing down the bev cart. Now you can amp up the fun even more. Just buy, snap, and enter for a chance to win a dream golf trip for two to any golf tournament in the United States. Tee up that trip. Visit 5hewin.com for rules and entry. No purchase is necessary. It excludes the Masters, and it ends October 31st, 2025. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and bet if your bet wins, you'll get $300 back in bonus bets to use across the app. It makes every game more exciting, so whether you're watching your team or keeping an eye on the fantasy lineup, it is quick and easy and is the best way to add a little more energy to Sundays. So are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. Hey, do us a favor, like, subscribe, and comment on the video. Subscribe to the podcast or audio podcast and give it a 5-star review. It costs nothing, but keeps all of this free. If you want a little bit more, join the Insiders program at the subtext link down below. No trolls, 14-day free trial, and the easiest way to cancel ever. So give that a try. And don't forget to check out a second listen on the network. Nearly every team, college or pro, is ready for you. All right, so let's go back to Todd Wade real quick. Now, Todd, one thing that I'm interested with, Arkansas, Tulane, LSU. Ole Miss's schedule this year, it kind of builds on each other to where one game is more difficult than the other. And then by the time you get to LSU, I mean, you're kind of there.
Yes, that's kind of what I've been thinking about since we started talking. It's just each game, it's worked favorable towards us. I thought last year's did too. Just obviously we lost to Kentucky last year, where it wasn't expecting that. But when you get guys transfers and you're getting young guys in there, it is nice to have this. Just as the game season goes on, you get a little more competition. So I feel like that's worked well for us. But we got to get ready.
Yeah, it should be interesting. This Arkansas game coming up, honestly, they've blown out Arkansas State. They've blown out Alabama A&M, which they're supposed to do. But you don't really know what you're walking into. You do know that you scored 63 points in them on their field a year ago. So they're going to come to Oxford ready to play, right?
That's right. They have a lot on the line, and the coach is feeling the heat and everything else.
Yeah, it should be pretty interesting to see what happens there, because Arkansas, it's an explosive team. The Bobby Petrino factor is real with Arkansas. And recently, Petrino has had success against Pete Golding. If you want to go back to the second half of the 2023 game between Ole Miss and Texas A&M, Texas A&M almost won that football game. And it was Bobby Petrino turning Max Johnson into a left-handed Tom Brady for the period of a half. And then last year, when Ole Miss had an all-world defense that led the SEC in scoring defense, Arkansas scored 31 points as it is against that unit. Ole Miss better be prepared to score in this game.
Yes. That's what I'm saying. Avoid the second and tens. We got to make something on first down. Get positive yards, move the chains, give our defense a break. Because Petrino, and you really hit it. I've met players that played under his system before. Guys at Auburn, and every single one of them revered him. As they thought the world of him and his play calling and having them ready to play. Every one of them said we felt so prepared going into every game when he was just our offensive coordinator. It was really amazing to see and experience. And I've never heard anyone talk about their offensive coordinator like that. So I've never forgotten that. And that's he is the real deal.
Yeah,
he's gonna have those guys ready.
Yeah, excellent ball coach, and their quarterback Taylor Green. I don't know how familiar you are with him, but Bobby Petrino, when he was at Louisville, he actually coached Lamar Jackson. Now, I'm not calling this guy Lamar Jackson, but he is an extremely athletic quarterback that is a dual threat, and they coach them the same way. They play the same way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know much about him. We'll see. I was kind of hoping to make it in town for this one, but it'll be LSU before I can get to Oxford. But really, it's gonna be an interesting game. I know Kip and the staff know that they're going to know what to expect, just as you said, just with their offense. They will find a way to put points on the board, and I hope we're ready for that.
Yeah, it should be pretty interesting in this game. Now, Ole Miss has a chance moving forward. We talked about it, the cascading games, because I really like Tulane. I think Tulane is in a very scary spot on the schedule for Ole Miss because Arkansas, at least you kind of focus on Arkansas, but Tulane is that true trap game. Because if Ole Miss beats Arkansas, all of a sudden everybody starts looking at the end of September. And then you have the two road games against Georgia and Oklahoma. Now, I know you've never played at Oklahoma, but have you ever played at Georgia?
Played Georgia in the 96, I believe.
Was that the Walker Jones
90
game?
And yes.
Okay.
And also in 98. We played them at Georgia in 98.
Okay. What was it like going on over to Athens and playing a game in that environment, since that's probably the weirdest road, the most dominating road environment that Ole Miss is going to go into, because they haven't lost a home game in like 5 years.
It's a nice problem to have.
Mm-hmm.
Like last time we went over there, it wasn't. Gosh, like did they play in Atlanta or did they play in Athens? It wasn't too good for us. It was maybe 2 or 3 years ago. Their crowd delivered for that game. They jumped on us early and it became a tough one. Now, Georgia at that time is not Georgia today, so we'll see as the season goes on. But that was at that time was a very strong team. They may have ended up winning the national championship that year. I'm not even sure, but there was that was a tough game. So it's something. I know a lot of those players are gone, but that's something to think about. That's always a fun place to go play. I remember, of course, back in the 90s, stadiums have grown since then, but it still had that feeling. It was we were certainly underdogs.
Outstanding. All right. When we come back, we will talk to Todd. We'll do a little gory days and talk about that time period as well. Talk about playing at Mississippi State, because that's
Sounds
a factor that everybody is going to talk about just as soon as we come back right after this. College football is back, and it is great. I could not be more excited. Tailgates, the rivalries, energy in the stands, they're just nothing like it. But let's be real. Actually getting tickets can feel like more of a battle than the game itself. Endless queues, hidden prices, and prices jumping at checkout. That's why I use Game Time. It's the easiest way to score last-minute tickets for the best prices with no surprise fees. What you see is what you pay. I pulled up Game Time, and in just a couple of taps, I saw amazing deals. I'm talking about my favorite college team, Ole Miss, looking and taking on Arkansas. You got a stripe out game in Oxford. You can participate in that. You can go to Game Time and find the tickets that you need. So take the guesswork out of buying college football tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Game Time today. All right, Todd, going back. Now, Ole Miss has to go down to Starkville this year, and it is interesting to think about what it could be like because Mississippi State beat Arizona State, so they're pretty jazzed up at the moment. When that stadium, when it's going, when it gets amped up a little bit, what's it like playing a game at Starkville?
It's you really feel the tension from their side, from their fans. It's always that, it's always around Thanksgiving. It's always this last game of the season. And it means a lot to both sides, but you also feel a lot of hate. So it's just an interesting, strange game in a way. It's just kind of almost an eerie, kind of a strange game, but it's something. It's great because the weather comes in. Being an offensive lineman, you love playing those games. You don't get as tired. It's not September. So I always just treasure those games. I never really felt tired. You can just get after it the entire game and, give everything you have. And it's not, it's just kind of like the last game of the season.
Yeah.
Get stuff thrown at you and all kinds of stuff. It's good stuff.
Yeah. And especially, let's see, back then in the way it got brought out, it was the old dressing room for visiting teams at Mississippi State when you played, right?
That's right.
Yeah, the one that Mike Leach talked about by just having a nail on the wall, or something like that.
It was interesting, time. And of course, the big fight in '97. We were all in there at the time. Everybody's warming up. Oh, by the way, Steven, I know the camera's not working on my side, so I called in as well. So I'm probably in the green room on one side. So if you want to pop me in, I could do it that way as well.
Okay.
What was interesting about that because it had just rained before the game, we were stretching in the locker room while the centers and everyone else out there.
Sorry about that. Close that out. I'm sorry.
There you go.
Hey, it would not be a Steve Willis joint unless something went wrong, right? There we go.
Yeah. Here we go. I think this will do better. All right. We're good now?
Yeah, we're good to go. Thank you. Appreciate it, Todd. We finally got it during the show and on this. That's pretty great. So
okay. So no,
so
what I was saying, we were in the locker room. The snappers, tight ends, maybe linebackers were out there first, and kickers. And then they call us, the linemen, and we might have the linebackers with us. Anyway, but all the linemen and then some were in the locker room stretching because it was wet on the ground out there. So we were just going to stretch in the locker room and then run out there and warm up, but not lay on the ground. So that was the whole reason we stayed back in the locker room. Well, while we're stretching, you heard all the commotion in the fans, and you didn't really know what it was. And then all the doors busted open. It was our old someone had yelled at our strength coach saying, "Hey, they're fighting! They're fighting!" Strength coach Benji Pierce looks at us. He goes, "Well, boys, you heard them. Go get them!" And everybody started running down that ramp, from the Leo Seal building, just try not to bust your tail on the concrete ramp running down.
Yeah, and that was the weird thing to where it was stretched out, because one of the last games I went to, I think it was in Jackson, there was a brawl that happened in that game.
Yes.
And it was lined up on the field from like 10-yard line to 10-yard line, and almost a single file line for fighting. And I will never forget that, because I don't know that the players could have lined up that perfectly if they meant to.
Like something from like the Revolutionary War, you're saying?
Yeah, it was crazy. It was just everybody goes to the middle of the field, lined up from 5-yard line to 5-yard line. There's a person standing in front of them. Both of them are putting up their dukes, and we're going to go. I mean, I guess we'd have to talk to, Tom Luke was there whenever that happened. But yeah, that brawl is there. The Deuce McAllister brawl that you were just talking about, to where Deuce just, he got somebody, he caught somebody that day. But that was a crazy brawl. And that might've been the last one. There was the Matt Corral one when he decided he was going to go fight everybody in 2018. So yeah, I love that game. It's a game that I don't want to lose, but I love that game.
Absolutely. No. And you got to appreciate Matt Corral. I know he was young at the time, but you kind of like that at the same time. So
yeah, because he threw the pass to A.J. Brown. You thought he had a touchdown, and then everybody just showed everything, and here we go. It was typical Egg Bowl. The next year was the piss and the mist, and then Lane Kiffin came in, and the rest was kind of history there.
Right. Yeah, I'll be excited. All
right, so where are you going to be watching the ball game from on Saturday?
We have not discussed yet. Might it really just depends. Probably maybe from my house here. I'm in Vero Beach, Florida, but maybe here. If not, last week I was with a bunch of buddies up at the.
Yeah, I'm in Winter Haven, by the way.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's where I am. Yeah,
Vero Beach. So there's this little tiki bar down the road. That's kind of a good spot to watch a game. If not there, probably here. Okay.
Outstanding. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I'd love to talk to you again, Todd.
Absolutely. Hey, thank you.
Appreciate it. And you have a good day, man. And a hotty toddy, buddy.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks again for making the Locked On Ole Miss podcast your go-to source for Ole Miss sports. We pride ourselves on offering the most comprehensive perspectives, which is why we're the front door of Ole Miss. Don't believe me? Google Ole Miss podcast and see how much we come up on that page. We pride ourselves on offering the most comprehensive perspectives. Like, comment, subscribe, all of that stuff. It is absolutely free, and your support means the world to us. Hey, and another big moment for Locked On. College football fans, Locked On and Fire TV are presenting College Football Kickoff, your ultimate football weekly preview. Drake Toll of Locked On Big 12 leads the conversation along two-time AP Coach of the Year Gary Patterson and former college star Jesse Holley, and of course, Locked On's experts. A college football preview show that only Locked On can do. Catch College Football Kickoff every Thursday night, or every Thursday throughout the season, only on Fire TV. Hotty toddy, everybody, and remember, analytics is just the old English word that means bad football. We'll see you tomorrow.